All right, taking a risk. Like I said, y'all gonna have to, really ground yourself right now because there's some things that are not clear about your relationship. That doesn't necessarily always have to mean a bad thing. It's just there's some things that you have to kind of conquer in regards to fears, in regards to discomforts, in regards to insecurities. And I think there's a lot of things that have to be addressed before you can, just commit, because we saw the Hierophant and the Moon, and those two together is like, okay, during the craziest time of your life, can you find some reason to stabilize? Can you stabilize yourself? And it's hard right now considering Uranus is actually in your sign 0 degrees, maybe even 1 degree now. I can't remember if he shifted or not, but he's up in there having a party. But the thing is that with that kind of craziness and that kind of shift, that sort of unexpected merge, right? Unexpected energy that the Uranus usually drums up. There's a lot of things that you're going to have to kind of be ready for, to kind of be on guard for. And not necessarily to resist, but more to understand what's happening and to adjust accordingly. Because the Hierophant is the 5th card of the major arcana, but that also talks about structure, organizations, boundaries, commitment. They talk about all of those things. And the thing that's interesting to me is that it's a contradiction, that card, in my opinion. Because usually you change what you need to change, so then you can stabilize based off of that change. This is the same difference. And what it looks like in this relationship is like, yeah, you got somebody new, but you're going to have to leave someone behind, some of the old habits and behaviors that don't really work now with this relationship. Not saying that they're like the devil energy, that's the things that take your power away, but these are beliefs, these are things that you've been accustomed to doing for forever, that they just policies have changed, the world has changed, your world has changed. There's got to be new rules to accommodate this new beginning, right? This new energy. So it makes sense. So the underlying energy is about you. The King of Pentacles is all about you. Now, at the same time, it could indicate that here, this could also just indicate that this is about stabilizing. This is about centering yourself. This is about feeling grounded and grounding yourself, grounding the people around you, or at least being a grounding force for other people to at least be able to ground themselves with you or around you. But really, the King of Pentacles is only going to be focusing on grounding himself, and that is the best source of grounding that anybody can ever have. One person must be grounded. And right now, the King of Pentacles has a lot to do, has a lot of research to do, has a lot of looking at the details to do, have a lot of things to look, has a lot of things to look into in regards to what is of value to him and what isn't, right? So why we have the King of Pentacles as the underlying energy? Well, the seven of Wands. It's interesting because Aries got the the Hermit in the 7 of Wands, and you guys have the King of Pentacles in the 7 of Wands. I think it's more to pursue happiness rather than to protect yourself, okay? Because right now, it's not necessarily, I don't think you guys are being the King of Pentacles. The reason why the King of Pentacles is coming up because you're protecting yourself. It's more of like being ready to go, being ready to just kind of, take on the next challenge. You know what I mean? Because it has been a little bit of protection that y'all have been doing. But with this situation, I feel like it's more of having the confidence to go for what you want. Okay, because look, new lovers, and then the 7 of Swords being the challenge. That means this issue's taking a risk right now. Because right, what do we see? The Moon, insecurities, uncertainties, and definitely no way of knowing if something's going to completely turn out. But remember, when the Moon comes up, y'all, it's not a bad thing. It's not it's conquering your fears of the unknown. What you don't know may or may not hurt you. But the thing is like, it's not about what you don't see coming. It's about how you handle yourself through the day-to-day and how you stabilize yourself. Because if you don't stabilize yourself, if you don't center yourself, if you don't ground yourself, there's going to be a lot of unseen, unpredictable stuff that hits you, and you're not ready for it. It's just all about being ready for the crazy, but not anticipating it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's really weird because you're not sitting there with your wand ready to fight somebody. You get what I'm saying? Just knowing that you have the skills to take care of yourself if somebody does challenge you, right? So it's like that. Let's go ahead and start looking at this reading here. We're going to start with this person over here. This person has the 6 of Wands in their mind plane. That's good. This person definitely feels very proud of themselves, very proud of the relationship, I think. Now, this person also sees success in the relationship as well. They've been putting in a lot of work, as you can see. They have a lot of pride toward it too, like I said, meaning that this person feels like, they've been through a lot with this relationship. They're like veterans now, even though this is like in the middle of the whole of the whole, close to, well, not quite the middle. We're like, slightly past the middle of, this suit, right? Because there's 10 in each suit. Excluding the suit, the actual suit cards, the queen, king, knight, page. This is like, hey, I've been through a lot. I've been through enough to kind of know what the hell I'm doing. I feel good about myself. This person's got a lot of pride when it comes to this relationship. Gone through enough, gone through a lot. They feel very proud of it. Now, the other person's got the 9 of Cups, and very similar to the Aries reading, the 9 of Cups was someone's mindset too, but they're happy with everything the way they are. They're happy with how things have been. They're happy with how things are in this moment. They're also, like I said, I also kind of feel like this person's also happy, not happy, but also manifested this relationship. This is something that they've wanted. This is something that they've been trying to, get going in their life, and this is where they are. They're happy with it. They're content with it. They can't complain. At the same time, I think this person also knows what they want. At the same time, if they're not in a relationship quite yet, which kind of looks like, even though this Lovers is coming up, don't mean you guys are in a relationship. I think you guys just know what you guys want. But the problem lies with what you guys are deciding. You see this? Like, you guys happy with yourself, proud of yourselves for going through the healing that you guys need to, or, going through the work that was needed to even, prosper in this relationship. But that's great. This person's very happy with their relationship. They can't complain. However, this person here is obviously showing that they have to make a decision about something, trying to weigh the pros and cons about whether or not this is something that, this is something that they can, they're willing to put time and effort into. What is the value, weighing the value of it. And the other person is trying to figure out if this is something that they can continue to push forward in. Or they're trying to look for, honestly, I think this is not really necessarily like, okay, I don't know if I can continue to put more work into this. I think they're trying to figure out what else they can do to improve the relationship. Because they have done good work and they know it, and the relationship has definitely benefited in that regard because of the work that they've been putting in. They're just having a hard time figuring out what else needs to be done. Okay, because there's nothing that needs to be done at this point, right? There's a lot of waiting, there's a lot of patience, and this person is great and happy with how well everything's improved, but there's not much they can do at this moment other than to focus and look within themselves. I think that this person is like very prideful, takes a lot of pride into putting work into something, whether that's helping people, whether that's improving some sort of project, whatever. But I don't know if this person really looks within themselves sometimes. Like, really centers themselves and looks within the self, okay? Because this is all about value. I think this person gets a lot of their worth from doing stuff. And now that there's nothing outside of them that needs to be done, they're kind of like, what the hell am I going to do? They're proud only, I feel like, because they've done the work. They've done a lot of things. Sure, it hasn't gotten them to where they want to be, but they're happy with it. But the thing is, too, it looks like they're getting a lot of justification from the projects that they've been putting in. Not necessarily about having pride in regards to how they're, in regards to what they're worth, So this is having a lot to do with looking back now, right? Looking at the self, looking at who they are. New love is good. But new love can only come if there is something, if there's room to receive it. And I think right now this person has kind of looked outside themselves enough to realize that this situation is no longer having anything to do with anything outside themselves. They have to look within. In order to receive this new love, in order to create new love, they have to start new love within themselves. Okay? And the same goes with this individual here. They're looking at, the weighing the pros and cons. That's why I see the Two of Pentacles as. I know sometimes people say it's juggling situations, or juggling two people. I'm not seeing no cheating. But what I am seeing, though, is this is like them trying to figure out, weighing the pros and cons of whether or not this is something that is, good for them or not, rather than looking at what they want. Like I said, they know what they want already. The Nine of Wands, the Knight of Cups indicates that. And I feel like at the same time, it's like, remember what you want to do. Remember what you want to pursue. Remember what your dream is. Is any of these options, are these options here presenting you with what you want. Now, at the same time, with Two of Pentacles being juggled like that, I kind of get a sense that this person may be procrastinating. Trying to keep the balance of a situation, hoping some situation would pass, some situation would come up, but then it's not going to pass because they're, this is something that they want. This is, at the end of the day, this is about pursuing what makes you happy by investing the time into what your heart's desire is. And this person may be procrastinating with the Two of Pentacles. But the reason why the Two of Pentacles is even coming up for this person, as well as the Nine of Cups, is we have the Five of Swords. Okay, so the Five of Swords is something that's a little bit difficult to read sometimes, considering the circumstances. But I don't think there's any fighting or any brawling. I think there's a lot of people that have felt defeated in their last endeavors, their last ventures and relationships. And I think this person's definitely taken the road of, okay, well, only do what makes me happy, and that's it. The Five of Swords can indicate too that this can it can indicate that there's not people around them that's looking to sabotage, but they're kind of conscientious of other people doing doing things that will perhaps sabotage them. But it's never ever really the other people that sabotage with the Five of Swords, in my opinion. It's always the other person, because they lose focus of what it is that they were going towards in the first place. Because the Five of Swords can indicate petty arguments, petty fights that have nothing to do with the circumstances. They're just all about winning a situation in the moment, as winning an argument in the moment, which can eventually cause a bigger result to a situation than realized at the end of it. So I feel like this person's seeking to kind of get what they want, gaining happiness, or finding something that is actually going to be a success, because they, like I said, they may have had some sort of falling out in the past with somebody. They may have been either cut ties with somebody, or there's some situation that made them feel like they were defeated, or they may feel like it was a failure. And that's just why they're weighing the pros and cons of whether or not, okay, this is what I want. If this relationship is what I want, is it worth pursuing? Is this something that I can actually grow and manifest into something beautiful? Two of Pentacles. Because they don't want to put their time and effort into something or into someone just to be feeling defeated all over again, just to feel like they've lost out or they missed out again. So the other person here with the Two of Cups coming up here is that, they find this relationship as the perfect partnership, right? The reason why they have the Seven of Pentacles here in the body, and then the mind being the Six of Wands. This person is very proud of themselves, very proud of this relationship. But the only issue I see is that they have a lot of focus on the relationship rather than themselves. Which is a lot of the bit, it's not really too bad. It's just that this person, is so focused on trying to improve this relationship. That's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? But there's not much they need to do. I think this person overexerts their energy a little bit because they're not receiving new love either, right? A new person has stirred romantic feelings, right? Has stirred your romantic feelings. This person is definitely going. And I feel like that because of this relationship that they deem is very perfect, that they deem is like the right person for them. It's not a bad thing, but with that kind of understanding or that kind of mindset, this person is always looking at the situation like, what do I need to do? And I think it's like, there's nothing you really need to do. Just be happy with where you are. Right? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong here. Same with this person here. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing more you need to look into it. It's really basic. Do you want to be with this person or not? And it's just really trusting themselves to do what they can, do what they know they can do to make the relationship work. Right? I think I have this feeling this person feels like if they slack off, the relationship won't be as perfect as they believe it is. But it's already perfect. The relationship is very perfect. Okay? The relationship is exactly how they want it. It's perfectly fine right now. They don't need to stress. They don't need to worry about it. This is fine. And with the Seven of Swords being the crossing, I feel like that's what's going on, right? The lovers, we already know what brought you two together. True love. Love, man. Okay? Love. And this is a beautiful card to get. already. Like soulmate energy already popping up. This is a soulmate investigation read, so already having a soulmate card as the reason why you guys come together. Awesome. But now the challenge is taking the risk. Is taking the risk to make the relationship the best it can be, and really not to be forceful. I feel like too. Not to force the situation, not to, try to, make something happen when it doesn't need to, when everything's just fine. Let me even pull one extra card for the Seven of Swords. Yeah, man. Seven of Swords, the Nine of Cups. Taking a risk on what your heart's desire is. At the end of the day, you know what makes you happy. It's just about whether or not you're willing to allow yourself to enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Alright. Alright, so you guys have surrender your belief in not secrecy, it's scarcity. Ooh, scarcity. Alright. The universe. Okay. I was smelling some sage there for a second. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Like I was saying, hey man, everything's perfectly fine right now. What is there needed? What extra stuff is needed to be done? Blocking yourself by trying to figure out if this is something worth pursuing when you already know it is, or knowing what it isn't, right? For you, you already know the truth. What makes you happy? This relationship. Regarding the relationship, this is what this is about. The mind plane. It makes you happy. Why not continue? Why not just allow it to just, why don't you allow yourself to just enjoy it? And then at the same time, what other work needs to be done? Why can't you just enjoy the moment? Can't you just be in the moment? Don't worry about what needs to be done at this moment. Worry about how you've been enjoying it. Where have you been delegating or pushing your time into? You know what I mean? Have you been spending time with this person?